Get your abacus out to figure that. We're going to start with a 100-lapper for the Giant Auto Parts Pure Later late models. I can see.
Yeah, well, you can't even say the division name.
50 laps for both our Pro Stocks and the Riverside Bilo Street Stocks, and a 30-lapper for our Fireworks division, the Pure Stocks. And, you know, Mike, we often have divisions come in here that are touring divisions, the Busch Grand National North Series. We have the Iceman Series in here this year. This is the night. It is for our guys only. It's for our local competitors. It's our biggest night of racing. A lot of tradition. There are some big names who have won this event, particularly in the late model category in years past. And guys are going to try and put their name in the record books this year.
It's changed so many different formats and ways it's run. It used to be on dirt. It had its sprint cars.
We used to run twin 50s. Now we're running the 100-lapper.
Right, and it was different divisions. But right now, it's all four NASCAR Winston Racing Series divisions that are running in the Laurel Highlands event, the 27th annual edition. That's a lot of racing to cover in the next 30 minutes.
Busy.
So let's get rolling. Stay with us. We'll be back after these messages.
This is KAPZ News. We just arrived.
I noticed its spaceship-like design.
I was strangely attracted to it.
I said, Vern, that is not a pizza.
Introducing the Pizza Hut Bowlie. Pizza toppings, cheese, and sauce in a mysteriously tasty crust. Now one Bowlie is $4.99. Bowlie, it's out of this world.
I believe it was brought here as a sign of peace.
Oh. Bowlie, reportedly seen in meaty, classic, and pepperoni mushroom varieties.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training as an automotive technician. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, demand is rising for skilled automotive technicians. National education centers can train you to become part of this growing field. You'll learn how to diagnose and repair today's complex mechanical and electronic automotive systems. Everything you need to get started as an automotive technician. This is a great career. Call NEC's Vail Technical Institute campus today. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
Da-da-da-da, we're back, Steve, with this big Laurel Highlands event. First off, in its 27th annual version of this particular evening of activities, it'll be a 30-lap main for the Pure Stocks. Here's a look at the top three rows. This is their biggest event all year from a standpoint of distance, of length of laps, and person prize money.
These drivers used to running 15-lap mains during the regular season, so we're going to double that up.
And a bunch of cars out there.
Yeah, a lot of cars out there. It's up to Ryan Hildebrand and Mitzi Schalles to bring the field up to speed, and Ryan Hildebrand does just that, looking for a career first win. It would be a great win. And look at these cars just stacked up behind our leader, still running. Take note, Mike, still running two abreast, but that won't take long to change. I'm sure we'll be 3 and 4 wide here very shortly. Look at this.
As they work down the back straight, it's 2, 3, 4, 5 different grooves out there, but right up front, it looks like a high-speed parade lap. And Ryan Hildebrand with the Giant Eagle number 9 machine, still working on the low side, takes over the point position from the female high flyer, Mitzi Schalles. As we look at the rest of the field, and they're still running high and low. You know, 26 cars, I believe, started this event, and we've never had that many out there this season so far, and usually things can get out of control with this race, but everybody's keeping things good so far. You've got to tiptoe through these first couple laps, and right now Mike Davis is trying to do that tiptoeing with the 67 under the low side of the 48 of Mike Backlund.
And Mike Backlund holding his own, but it's Mitzi Schalles in second place. Ooh, things get very close up there. Doug Schalles right up behind Mike Davis, but again, no problems. We just kind of touch metal and say, hello, how are you? And we just keep racing with Ryan Hildebrand on the point position. Mitzi Schalles is looking for some sort of an opportunity to go high or go low, to make the move, to make a pass, to take the lead. Here she's working the outside line, manages to pull up on the back bumper of Hildebrand, but is really unable to make any kind of a serious effort as the field comes down the front straight. Things really getting interesting out there. We haven't been up too much sheet metal yet. Let's take it right to a live call.
And here she goes. She makes a bend to the low side. Down the back straightaway. Hildebrand right there. Oh, they're running out of racing room. Look at this. We're 3, 4 wide in turn 3 and 4. Oh, my goodness. We've got to look at that. Oh, you watch it. Down the front. 4 wide. 4 wide down the front straight. Unbelievable. Mitzi Schalles leads for 30 feet. And then Mike Davis comes over and takes over the point position. Oh, my goodness. A determined driver out there, Steve Areno, even cutting some grass in turn 3 a lap ago, but she cannot make the move as Davis continues on. Now it's time for us to jump ahead. 2 laps later, lap 7. Mike Davis still the leader, but look at this action here. The egg sprinting 78 automobile. Kevin Sander goes to the low side of Ryan Hildebrand. They're battling for a top 5 position. The 5 right there, Barry DeSelf Jr. Up high comes Doug Shawless, the brother of the Mitzi Shawless. He's running for a top 5 position. Goes to the outside. Ooh, makes connection with Hildebrand's automobile. Repercussions through the field. Shawless comes across the middle of the track. No one gets into his automobile. We continue with green flag status. Down the back straightaway, Mike Backlund now goes to the outside of the Terminator. Scott Kokenar in the 19. Terminator 2, that is. Let's get technical here. Well, we move on in the event here. The 67 of Davis still with that lead as Mitzi Shawless trails.
Mitzi Shawless has been trying to work her way up to the back bumper of Davis to put some kind of a move to be able to take the lead. But right now she has her hands full with what's stacking up behind her. Oh, but while this is going on, that battle is going on, this is the same lap. Jim McGonigal into the front retaining wall, then back down to the infield. So we're going to restart the event. Everything's okay there. A lot of steam coming out. He made very hard contact, but fortunately for Jim, he's okay. And here we are, back to racing action, and we're still looking at Mitzi Shawless, and she's got the likes of holding off Kevin Sander and
the 93 of Dan
Campbell.
Campbell,
Yes.
Steve, this is about the halfway point. Campbell has become part of this picture, and he's working the outside group to his advantage, lap after lap, and he's snuck up through the field. Now he battles for that 4th place position.
Campbell has won a number of races here at Jennerstown this season. I know he'd love to be able to add this Laurel Highlands victory to his credit, put himself in the history books of this prestigious event. He continues to work his way up. He's on the outside of Mitzi Shawless right now, but again, this is only the battle for second. Mike Davis, as we see down the back straight, still holds on to that point position.
Well, it might be better if Campbell can get up there and battle for the lead, that he puts his name in the history books rather than you.
Oh, well, we know you're never going to be there, so we're not going to worry about that. It's Mike Davis on the point, though.
Yeah, anyway, he's up the second. That is Campbell, the North Star Equipment 93. Now he begins to attack the 67 of Davis.
And while that's going on, we're going to move ahead in the event just a couple of laps later. Mike Davis still holding on to the point position. Dan Campbell still applying that pressure behind him, followed by Mitzi Shawless and Kevin Sander. One thing we did not mention, before tonight's racing activity, we had a pretty good downpour, and we had to dry the track off, so a lot of the rubber that was on the track is now off the track and has affected the handling of these cars as we watch.
What we're
Dan
trying
Campbell
to say is this is the beginning of the demo derby portion of this race.
Watch carefully. Dan Campbell on the low line actually does wrest the lead from Mike Davis as they work their way down the front straight. Mitzi Shawless is trying to follow suit. Unfortunately, it's really not going to stand because this is the beginning of the follies of error. There we look at Campbell in the lead position, but we have an accident. Going down into turns 1 and 2, Ron Conway and Ken Scomo get the cars together, do a little pirouette as they hold hands. No serious contact there, so we have to restart the event. Mike Davis back on the point position, and Dan Campbell has to try it all over again. Davis manages to hold it on.
We revert back to the prior lap for positioning. That's why Davis has the lead back again.
All of that happened on the same lap, and guess what? As Dan Campbell's trying to pass again, we have another spin.
We're not done yet.
Mitzi Shawless spins in the turn, and down on the inside retaining wall, 2 more cars collect themselves.
And this sets up a situation with another restart, Steve, where Davis will have the lead again. And here it is, and we're going to take it right into a call. Down the front straightaway, Campbell gets a jump to the low side on Davis. Campbell outboxes Davis on the restart. Davis tries to come back on him. Look at Mike Davis come right back on Dan Campbell down the back straightaway. 5 laps remaining, we're side by side. Here comes a 5 of Barry DeSelf Jr. Campbell desperately trying to get by Davis. Davis comes right back up on him. Oh, Davis coming close to the outside retaining wall. Down the front straightaway, Campbell takes the lead. Everything unfolding at high-speed drama now. Oh, look out! Look out at 2! Oh! We're not done yet. Hold on. Oh, my. Oh, we got a wheel off. Cars scattering everywhere. And this race becomes crazier and crazier by the minute.
Crazier and crazier indeed. We're going to have to get Dr. Whiplash to do some analysis of what's been going on with this race. We're going to get all the cars off the track. Here we look at Brian Thomas coming in. He's the car that lost the wheel, but back to racing action. Dan Campbell on the point position, and here comes Barry DeSalvo and the Cobra. Mark Corden, who's been very quiet, just kind of missing the accidents, picking his way through.
Missing accidents. Here's another one again.
We can't miss this one. Kevin Scomo and Mitzi Shawless get together. Hard contact on the inside retaining wall. Fortunately, Mitzi is all right. A little shaken up, but we'll get everything cleaned up, and we're going to restart the event again. Mitzi not too happy with what just transpired in front of the grandstand. Back to racing action. Dan Campbell on the point, and now in second place, Mark the Cobra Corden. Again, I said he's been very quietly working his way to the point position. We're coming around for the last lap. One more live call.
He goes to the outside. Campbell finds him right there, denies it to him. The Cobra hangs tough on the outside, cannot make the move. He's a car length short. Into 3 and 4. Mark the Cobra Corden determined from the outside. Here we come out of 4. Campbell works low. The Cobra gets crossed a little bit, and it's Dan Campbell to the checker race fan. Campbell makes it stick to the checkered flag and puts his name in the history book in the 27th annual Laurel Highlands event. The pure stock version of this evening's activities, 30-lap main, the most prestigious race of the 94 season. He wins in victory lane. He's all fired up.
Let's take a race break and meet some late model drivers.
This race break is brought to you by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet Geo dealer, the official vehicle of Jennerstown Speedway.
You know, each and every week, Steve Richard and myself on Chase to the Checkered talk about these drivers that get behind the wheels of our NASCAR Winston Racing Series machines, particularly those in our premier division, the John Auto Parts Pure Later late models. We thought if you've been watching Chase to the Checkered all season long, as we're getting near the end of the season, that you'd like the opportunity to see some of these drivers yourself. Driver of the Power Flow, number 19 from Connersville, Pennsylvania, Rick Miller. He's back and ready to roll after his shoulder injury of some 6 weeks ago. Three-time winner in 1994, Tom Terrific Erickson. The 1988 NASCAR Winston Racing Series Northeast Regional Champion from Hubbard, Ohio, the Double G, Glenn Galt. Always fast and a win under his belt this year, Jenners, Pennsylvania's Barry Oddie. Sophomore sensation from Wimber, Pennsylvania, Robbie Mahevka. He scored a number of top 5 finishes. A win in the near future is definitely not out of his grasp. Another sophomore sensation, Mark Catone from McKeesport, Pennsylvania. He's seen victory lane in both his rookie season and in 1994 at Motordrome Speedway, our sister track. Young Ken Imler Jr. from East Freedom, Pennsylvania, has captured the checkered this season, as well as Bobby Henry from Connersville, Pennsylvania, in the Brooks Oldsmobile 77. And finally, the current track point leader and now the new 1994 NASCAR Winston Racing Series Northeast Regional Champion for his 3rd consecutive season and current leader in the national point standings for the Winston Racing Series from Hopewell, Pennsylvania, Chargin' Charlie Cragen.
This race break has been brought to you by Chevrolet and your local Chevrolet Geo dealer, the official vehicle of Jennerstown Speedway.
Cruise into your local Chevrolet Geo dealer now for the all-new Camaro.
This is KAPZ News. We just arrived.
I noticed its spaceship-like design.
I was strangely attracted to it.
I said, Vern, that is not a pizza.
Introducing the Pizza Hut Bowlie. Pizza toppings, cheese, and sauce in a mysteriously tasty crust. Now one bowlie is $4.99. Bowlie, it's out of this world.
I believe it was brought here as a sign of peace.
Bowlie, reportedly seen in meaty, classic, and pepperoni mushroom varieties.
Welcome back. Our premier event lines up behind the beautiful NASCAR Jennerstown Speedway official pace car, that Camaro 1994 version of the Z28. There's a look at the top 3 rows of these John Auto Parts Pure Leader late model machines. They're going 100 laps, Steve. 5,000 to win, 500 just to start this prestigious event. 25 cars lined up.
Jimmer Seeger and Tom Erickson in the front row. And let's talk a little bit about Jimmer Seeger and the car he's driving. It's the number 25 ETR, the Ernie Roselli car that we normally see Tony Raines drive when he visits Jennerstown. And Tom Erickson, the wily one, on his outside, and it's up to Seeger to bring this field up to speed. What will Erickson do? Well, they're about dead even down the front straight, but as they go into turns 1 and 2, look at the horsepower and the handling of that ETR number 25 as it jumps out at the first place. And look at this, the number 19, speaking of powering and handling, a surprise move low on the inside. Rick Miller, he assumes the point position, but
It's all for naught.
All be for naught because we have a spin down in the turns and we have to restart the event. The number
Chuck
71, right, running the backup car actually
yeah,
for Bobby
and
Henry.
repercussions here in the front straight, Steve. The yellow, couple cars got on the binders before other ones caused some minor miscues. We tried all over again, but this time, look at this. Seeger, who's not really familiar with a lot of race procedures on long distance of races, complete restart. He gets a jump on the rest of the field. Flag man, chief starter Ron Brett didn't like that, so he threw the yellow there, and we go back to our 3rd attempt at a complete restart on this event. The Laurel Highlands 100-lap main for the John Auto Parts Purely Late models this time is green and racing.
Third time is the charm. And again, it's Seeger on the point position. Rick Miller hot in his bumper, but I don't think Seeger's going to let him pull the same move.
Look here, though. There's no black car. Tom Erickson fell out with an axle problem.
That's the same problem they had when they were running one of the bigger races back earlier in the year, a broken axle. Hard to believe that can happen to you twice in one season.
And even before there's officially a lap in the record book. So we've got a lap, and we're still going green here. Jimmer Seeger and that Ernie Roselli piloted, owned automobile. His first time behind the wheel of it, and he's a determined driver. Takes that point position with a brand new A1 engineering chassis 19 for Rick Miller, the Connoisseur Pennsylvania driver in that Powerflow 19 machine out there moving, and these cars are moving faster than I can talk here, Steve. We move on to the event.
And look at this, number 99, the Quick Rock car, the ride of our sensation sophomore pilot Robbie Mahevka, holding his own. As a matter of fact, look at the move he puts on Rick Miller. Miller fades high in the turn. Mahevka says, no problem, I'll take advantage of that, slides underneath, and right now has at least a nose into second place, and as they come out of the turns, he will be in second, but it's for naught. We have another spin. Randy Burke is sliding his way, almost hitting the outside retaining wall. We will restart the event and move on.
And we're positioning, fighting here with some outstanding drivers. Barry Audi goes to the low side of Glenn Galt. This is a battle for a top 5 spot. Stoystown Auto Wrecker 75 Camaro-bodied machine trying to take that 4th place position away from Galt. Now, both Audi and Galt, despite numerous years difference in experience here in long-distance races, both are excellent in these 100-lap century grinds. Behind them, charging Charlie Cragen is lurking. So the top 3 you see go by there, and here's this battle again for 4th. Audi will try the low side once again on the Ohio veteran and trying to make that move, and it appears he's got that line established. He goes into 4th. Cragen says, well, if the door stays open, I'm coming through the barn door as well. And he's now battling for the 5th place spot with that Casa Fire Equipment 42. He will go to the low side. He's anxious to move up there. Why? Winston Racing Series points count for this 100-lap main. Diving into turns 1 and 2, Robbie Mahevka still trying to take the BT Financial Corp under Rick Miller as we watch other battles. Now we move on. Mahevka, after numerous laps, has finally come up in his battle for the bridesmaid spot under the 19 of Rick Miller.
And because of the caution that we had earlier, the second time getting around Miller is nowhere near as easy as the first time was. The cars battle for a full lap side by side, get very close together there, but it is Mahevka who takes the second place position clean.
And as he does that, Barry Audi says, well, leave the door open again, I'll come through. He stays up there, and that's hanging up the drive for Rick Miller, as they call it. Charlie Cragen gets through. So Rick Miller, in a half a lap, loses 3 positions and a lot of payoff purse right here in the event. They go around the high side of Larry Wingard's automobile, putting him another lap down in the event as they work down the back straightaway. And now we move on again, and Charlie Cragen's a man. They often call him such a patient driver. As we move on near the halfway point in this event, Cragen begins to start making some moves here. He goes up to the outside of Barry Audi, and as they work down the front straightaway, Cragen has a handily controlled pass for the 3rd place position.
Cragen had been following Audi the whole way up through the field in the early parts of the races. We continue to work our way on. This is Cragen battling for second. Cragen has just been picking his way here and there. He knows he has 100 laps to work with, so he's not in any great big hurry to get up front, and he continues to work the low line right side by side with the sophomore sensation Robbie Mahevka. Again, it's no easy task. He does manage to get a nose on Mahevka, but watch Mahevka. He doesn't give up that easily. He holds his own position, but as they come down the front straight, it is still Cragen with the nose out in front. Mahevka says, not yet. But as the cars get both actually dirt track a little bit in turns 1 and 2, it is Cragen who manages to come out in second. Moving on in the event, now Cragen's caught up to our leader, Seeger.
Oh, and as they go into turns 1 and 2, Steve, what do you do if you're Jimmer Seeger and you're in a borrowed car, so to speak, a one-race rental ride? You want to make an impression, dirt tracking a car there, and then you've got that red Casa Fire Equipment car coming up to your door panel like that. So intimidating, but watch as Cragen dirt tracks in an effort to get around Seeger. He takes advantage, even dirt tracks the car himself and holds him off. This begins a duel that lasted lap after lap. We move ahead in this duel, and it's still Cragen trying to get around Seeger, but you know, every time he took a different line, Steve, Seeger would use the ability of switching grooves to block Cragen. Look, Cragen's high, he's low, he can't get him. What do you do if you're Seeger and you see this red car back and forth in your rearview mirror?
Well, Mike, there's only one thing you can do. Drive fast and turn left. We're going to move ahead in the event. Coming up, lap 68. Again, Cragen still working on Seeger. Seeger holds him off, but for how much longer? Let's go to a call.
Here comes Cragen. He's got a good jump this time. Down the back straight and Seeger down low. Cragen with the mid. Seeger right there in 3 and 4. Side by side, wheel to wheel. Cragen with the move. Out at turn 4. Down the front straight and Cragen takes the lead. Cragen on lap 69 goes on for the pass over Jimmer Seeger. Then we had a yellow flag incident, and Jimmer Seeger under caution broke. They had engine problems, and the 25 ETR machine car comes to stop. The night is over for that automobile. Now we move on to more racing action. Robbie Mahevka there in the second place position on the restart with the 42 Craig. And a driver with an outstanding job right now. Bethel Park, Pennsylvania's Dave James in a 21 down into Rick Miller's purple 19. They get together. A spin for Miller. Hits the wall only lightly, but James, as a 34 spins Rainy Burke, Dave James was sent to the back of the field. Then later gets involved with another incident back in the field, and the fiberglass is torn off the car. So he went from fighting for third place position to a disastrous situation in the back of the field. In the pits trying to fix that car. Then we move on late in the event. Robbie Mahevka starts out with a smaller fuel cell than everybody else. He runs out of gas with just a few laps remaining. Has to duck into the pits while running in second place position. It's all for naught for him chasing up through the field, because here's the man of the hour. Charging Charlie Cragen comes around. It's a $5,000 payday, and NASCAR Winston Racing Series points on top of the glory and gold in this Laurel Highlands event.
Cragen followed by Audi, Randisi, Mignon, and Delano. By the way, that's Charging Charlie Cragen's fourth Laurel Highlands win. 2 on dirt, 2 on asphalt. More racing to come. We'll be right back.
Do you want a career that's in demand? Consider training as an automotive technician. According to the U.S. Department of Labor, demand is rising for skilled automotive technicians. National education centers can train you to become part of this growing field. You'll learn how to diagnose and repair today's complex mechanical and electronic automotive systems. Everything you need to get started as an automotive technician. This is a great career. Call NEC's Vail Technical Institute campus today. Call 1-800-722-7337. 1-800-722-7337. Call now.
First you hear it.
Hardy fighting for his life, holding on to the lead, and everybody's challenging.
Then you see it.
Darkest goes up high. Dark man right there at the wall.
Then you feel it. Right to your bone marrow. It's the NASCAR Winston Racing Series every Saturday at Jennerstown Speedway. Don't starve your senses. Bring your entertainment appetite and prepare to feast at Jennerstown.
We're back with our Pro Stocks, and they're part of this Laurel Highlands celebration activities of this evening. It's their 50-lap main. There's a look at the top 3 row with 2 Ford Thunderbirds on that first row.
Bill Cross, Bob Archenberger in those Thunderbirds. Durkis, Cunningham, Wisner, and Heminger rounding out the other 2 rows behind them. And a flock of cars, a full field of automobiles. Ron Brutt gets ready to drop the green flag. The pace cars off the track, and we are up to speed and racing.
And as the field goes down to the turns 1 and 2, full song, the side-by-side battle with Bill Krause out of Somerset down to the low side. Everybody getting through there cleanly as we pan back. And on the back straight, Rapid Robert Arsenberger and the Davies Ford Thunderbird from Mill Run, Pennsylvania, will work to the outside of Somerset's Krause and make the move to the lead spot. It's 1, 2, 3, 4 Thunderbirds right now with the rest of the field. There's a good look at Dunmar and a powder blue and white 076 Package Sports Bar Camaro. He's one to watch in any event in this division. Likewise for Mikey Heminger in that black and silver automobile, just a young pilot in this division, always does well. Butch Durkis of the Avarola Auto Parts 87 will dive to the low side of Krause, and he'll take over that second place position.
But right now in the lead position, it is all Rapid Robert Arsenberger. Look at the lead he's stretching out as this rest of the field tries to play catch up with him. It's all Arsenberger. Dunmar continues to wait to pick his way through the field, but we had an incident which is going to bring out a restart, bring out the caution and a restart. Eric Corbett and Alki Cunningham get the cars together, exiting turn 4 down the front straight. Fortunately, both the drivers seem to be okay. Alki a bit dazed. He is going to be taken to a local hospital for observation. We'll get the cars cleaned up off of the track, and we're going to restart the event. Robert Arsenberger still on the point position, but here comes Butch Durkis on the low line.
Durkis will continue to garner that low side move. Now the 72 of Mike Heminger, what an interesting prospect we have here this evening. He's trying for his 3rd consecutive Laurel Highlands win in a row. 2 of them in the Riverside Bilo Street Stock divisions, and this is his first year in the Pro Stocks. He's trying to make the move for 3rd right now on the 25 of Krause. And as he makes that move on the outside, things begin to shape up in unusual fashion.
You know, this is the Laurel Highlands event. He's won it twice. One of his sponsors is Laurel Highlands Investigation. Maybe this is his night.
You would have to come up with something like that. You know, it's funny, you and your intros and talking about people, don't jinx anybody out there, Steve Areno. We continue with this battle with the lead. The 26 Arsenberger's held on to it. But look how Butch Durkis has been able to close up. And in fact, a lot of cars are closing up. But we have a problem later in the event. Tim Tarkowski hits the wall, and then the 84 Jerry Wisner also gets involved, unfortunately damaging his machine. Now we're going to go back to a restart after you see look at those two automobiles. Here's the top 4 cars, but look, someone's missing. The driver attempting at his 3rd Laurel Highlands event, Mikey Heminger, dropped out of the event. An unfortunate situation for him, and the curse works even in the middle of the show, Steve.
I promise not to talk about drivers and things like that before we see the checkered
All right,
flag fall.
Soothsayer, what's going on now?
We're looking at Jeff Dunbar. He's working the low line on Denny Wingard, working his way up through the field. He's pulling up at the back bumper of the number 2 runner, Butch Durkis. Wingard just kind of glues himself to Dunbar's bumper as the field works its way around some lap traffic. It's still Bob Arsenberger with the lead. He had that huge lead, but the restart brings the field back up to his back bumper. Right now, Butch Durkis has his hands full, though.
You know, unbeknownst to a lot of people in the stands right now, the weather is starting to get a little rough, and it's getting an ominous cold feeling to it. The clouds rolling in. You can't see it at night, but the battle goes on. The 07 of Jeff Dunbar gets through for the 2nd place position. Now Denny Wigger tries the same. We move on in the event. This is actually lap 29. Jeff Dunbar begins to apply pressure to Arsenberger, and for all intents and purposes, this is the first time Arsenberger's seen a car try to move up to his B or C post on that Thunderbird, and he works the high side. Do you know what a B or C post is? Yeah, you know what it is.
Yes,
it's
sir.
on the window things. Anyways, he goes to the low side trying to make a move after going high, but Dunbar, whose car usually handles so well, begins to experience in the middle of the turn some handling problems, and Arsenberger's able to stay ahead.
A lot of it may have to do with all of the guidance he's had to do through traffic, working his way up through the field over this 50 or 45 laps, which we've gone through at this stage of the game. Well, Arsenberger's just had basically free and clear running, so I'm sure his tires are in a little bit better shape than those of Dunbar. And Denny Wingard, as a matter of fact, manages to pull up just behind Dunbar.
This is moving on to the 45th lap at this point. Now, something significant happens here. Denny Wingard will try to make this move on Dunbar. Dunbar has the handling problems. Wingard gets on the binders to avoid him and overcorrects and has problems, rides the wall, and when he does that, the rain showers came, and we ended up ending this race under the caution. The camera people had to scatter and throw everything down, and it ends up being Bob Arsenberger, the winner of the 27th annual Laurel Highlands event for the Pro Stocks. Now, the Riverside Bilo Street Stocks are rained out. We'll have them next week. Stay with us for Words of Wisdom. We'll be back.